My father's will had just been opened, and every single person in the room thought I had no right to be there. They talked over me. They whispered about me. They even pretended I didn't exist. But when the lawyer reached the final clause, he paused, looked straight at me, and said, "Everything depends on him." The entire room froze. My name is Ethan Walker, and my family is complicated. My father, Richard Walker, had been a successful architect in Seattle. He remarried after my mother died when I was 10. His new wife, Sandra, had 2 kids from her previous marriage: Chloe, age 22, and Ryan, age 25. They were never my siblings, not even close. Sandra treated me like an outsider. Her kids treated me like competition. And Dad, he was stuck in the middle. When Dad passed after a long illness, Sandra didn't even inform me directly. I found out from a neighbor a full day later. Then out of nowhere, I received one email. Will reading, Tuesday 3 p.m., Prescott and Associates Law Office. No greeting, no details, just time and place. I showed up anyway. Sandra and her kids were already seated. Expensive clothes, fake sympathy, and that smug, satisfied confidence rich people get when they think they've already won. Sandra didn't even look at me. Ryan smirked. Chloe whispered, "Why is he even here?" The lawyer, Mr. Prescott, adjusted his glasses and began. Per the request of the deceased, all beneficiaries must be present. Everyone looked annoyed. Everyone except me. Mr. Prescott began reading the will. To my wife, Sandra, I leave my personal belongings and jewelry. Sandra smiled wide. Chloe squeezed her hand. To my stepchildren, Ryan and Chloe, I leave $25,000 each. Both looked mildly disappointed. They expected way more than that. Then came the part they were waiting for. And to my biological son, Ethan, the entire room tensed. Sandra leaned forward like a snake ready to strike. I leave something of importance, but the details are in a separate sealed letter, which will be opened after today's reading. Everyone turned toward me. Sandra's eyes narrowed. Sandra interrupted. This is ridiculous. He barely visited. He wasn't even close to his father. Mr. Prescott stayed calm. Mrs. Walker, please. The contents are as written. Ryan whispered loudly. Dad left him nothing. It's just some emotional crap. Chloe giggled under her breath. I kept quiet, but inside, something felt wrong. Dad never told me about a sealed letter. Dad barely talked about money at all. Why a separate letter? Only for me? Prescott continued. Before we proceed, there's one last clause in the main will. He flipped the page, and suddenly his face changed. He straightened his posture. He read slower. Sandra noticed. What is it now? Prescott cleared his throat. Before distribution, all beneficiaries must take part in a recorded interview with my private investigator. That silenced the entire room. Sandra snapped, "A what? Why?" Mr. Prescott replied, "Mr. Walker suspected financial misconduct during his illness." Ryan's face went pale. Chloe looked down. Sandra whispered, "This can't be happening." Prescott continued, "Until these interviews are complete, no asset, money, property, or documents will be released." Sandra slammed her hand on the table. "This is insane. Your father was confused. He was sick. He didn't know what he was writing." Prescott's voice sharpened. "He wrote this clause 5 years ago, before he was ill." Silence. Pin drop silence. Prescott turned the last page. In the event it is proven that any beneficiary stole, forged, manipulated, or pressured me during my illness, they will be immediately removed from the will. Sandra froze. Ryan swallowed. Chloe shook slightly. And in such a case, all assets, my home, my shares, my life insurance, my savings, and my pension, will be transferred to my son, Ethan Walker. Dead silence. Everyone turned to stare at me. Sandra burst out. This is your doing. You manipulated him. You. Prescott replied sharply. Mrs. Walker, the clause was added before Ethan turned 18. That shut her down instantly. Ryan whispered, We're screwed. Sandra hit his arm. Shut up. I was shaking, not from shock, but from realization. Dad suspected them. For years. Prescott finally handed me the sealed envelope. Red wax. Dad's handwriting. My hands trembled as I opened it. Inside was a short note. Ethan, I know you always felt like you lived in the shadows, but you were the only one who never pretended to love me. Whatever happens next, stand firm. The truth will rise. My father knew. He knew everything. Sandra stood up, pointed at me. We're not giving up anything. My lawyer will destroy this whole joke. Prescott calmly replied, This will is legally airtight. Your interviews start Friday. I folded the letter, put it in my jacket, walked out of the room, and for the first time in years, I felt like Dad was still standing beside me. Truth hurts, but lies destroy. And my family was built on lies. If you want more stories like this, don't forget to subscribe to Willtwist.